All right, so the first clip is from Fuslie. She talks about her cat mushroom. Okay, let's watch this.
So I'm on the chair. I asked Mia if she feels something moving. She's like, no. And I puts her hand on my shoulder. I was like, maybe I'm crazy. And then I feel something really moving. Like I thought my chair was like vibrant. And I'm like, man, you feel that, right? And then she's like, wait, yeah. And then I was like, wait, something's under my chair. So I jump down. I look. I pull the reclining thing a little high. It wasn't so the chair wasn't like the legs weren't a little bit up. I like look under the chair and I see like fur, right? And I don't like I process it and I realize it's mushroom, right? I literally felt like I reached my arm back the second I thought it was mushroom, and I felt her body, and I literally my brain. I don't know if my brain this time. I swear her body was cold and limp, right? So I screamed. This is where I literally blacked out. I don't even remember. I started screaming, and I was like, "It's mushroom! It's mushroom!" And Mia was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Mia, it's mushroom, right?" So she jumps down. I was like, "Help me lift the chair." So she pulls up the chair, and we both lift up the chair, and mushroom is like. She looks dead, like it's as dead, like she's literally as dead as like a cat could be. Like her eyes were like looking up, her body's completely limp. I like saw blood on her paw. I pull her out. Okay, I pull her out, and I am hysterical at this point. Like I'm just like screaming. I'm like, I killed mushroom. I killed her. And she's dead. She's dead, man. What do I do? Here's where I don't even really remember how fast or slow this whole part is. Mia is holding mushroom and she's trying to do chest compressions on mushroom. I'm like looking at mushroom and I can't tell if she has already died at this point. I was like confident she's just dead. I could barely bring myself to like look. And I'm on my phone and I'm panicking and I'm like, do I call 911? Do I call? I was thinking like I need a vet here immediately. Like, do I call? Is there an emergency? Like I was thinking like vet. Emergency, but I'm thinking like, who do I call? So I'm like shaking and I'm typing like emergency vet, but I can't even type. And she's like, breathe. She just like type and I was like something basically near like she had a hospital in mind, right? She's like, call this number, and Mia was like, I'm like, is she dead? And I'm looking at her and I'm like, she's freaking dead. I killed my cat. I crushed her. I literally crushed mushroom, right, my sweet angel, and I'm like sobbing, right? And my mom looked, and I love my mom so much, but my goodness, did she not help in this situation? She looks at me and she's like, Leslie, like, she's gone. Like, you have to accept that. And I said, Mother, leave. Like, leave. She's not, what? You just told me she's not dead, right? But my mom's like, and it's just like, I'm like, Mom, are you serious right now? She didn't mean it like this, but she looks at me and she goes, you have to let her go. I've never called my mom mother. I don't think I've ever called her mother once. I literally went, Mother. And that's one thing I do remember. And leave. So Mia was like, let's take her to the vet, the emergency vet right now. Let's take her to the vet. I know the hospital. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. She said, grab a blanket. I was like, okay, a blanket or a towel. So I run out for a towel. I'm panicking so much. I grab my pillow, rip the pillowcase off the pillow. Like I realize it's some silk pillowcase that like makes up like this. It like crumbles in my hand like this. I'm like, what am I? So
That's good thinking, though.
A fluffy sweater out of my laundry. I grab this like purple fluffy sweater, and I'm like, I got it. And then Mia's like, okay, we put her on. So we put mushroom on. She's like, she's breathing a little bit. She's like really fast breaths. Like Mia's like, her eyes are looking so like that's the scariest part of all this. Her eyes were literally rolled back in her head. Also, there's a small moment. So when I pulled her out from under the chair, the amount like I was certain she was dead was like 100. And in that moment, like I can't explain that emotion. Like I can't explain. I've never felt that in my life. Just the horror of that feeling was just horrible. So when I heard her first like breath, like even when Mia was like giving her CPR, when I heard like her breathing, like that tiny bit of hope I was clinging on to so hard, which is why I think I was so mad when my mom's like, she's dead, because I was like, she's breathing right now, Mom, she's breathing, right? Sorry, maybe like, flashback. I'm like, sorry. Anyways, so then we're like, I'm like hysterical, oh my
just by hearing her voice when she basically explains what happened, it's like you're relieving that moment, that stressful, awful moment of dealing with a situation like this. And she's basically going through the same emotions again. It's just very hard if you have a pet that you're emotionally attached to. If anything happens to them, it's just really difficult.
And I swear I thought she was dead. It was horrible. So she's like completely like bending. I don't describe it. Like it felt like if I held her by her back, she would just like the way I had to hold her head and her legs and every part of her. Like that. It was so scary. I thought every bone in her body was broken. Like I was like, oh my god, her legs are probably crushed. Her brain is crushed. Everything is like I was imagining the absolute worst. This is the worst. And so I get in the car, and Mia's like, Leslie, you're gonna have to like do CPR. And I'm like, I don't know how to do CPR, Mia. And she's like, I'll walk you through it. Like I'll just tell you, it's not that hard. I had to do this in the lobby before. And I was like, and she said, I have to drive. And I said, can I drive? Can I drive? And you do CPR? She's like, no, you're not driving. And I was like, that's true. Go! Because I was like, I should drive, and you should do the CPR. And then, because I'm hysterical. Okay, here we go. So Milan is driving, zoom, right? And I'm just breathing, and she's like, okay, just inhale, and you're going to breathe 2 seconds, and you're going to in her mouth. And the one thing that was giving the most hope to me is that her jaw like was clenched down on my fingers. So like I gotten a manicure, but if you can see like where my 2 fingers are messed up, it's where my fingers were prying her mouth open because she was trying to close on my hands. She wouldn't open her mouth and I couldn't breathe. And I was forcing her little mouth open. I'm like, you will breathe. And every time I would stop, she's like, breathe into her nose. So I'll stop. I'd stop occasionally just to like listen to her, and she'd be going, right? And every time she'd stop, I was like, mushroom, please stay with me. And I was like, please. And I'm like, I don't even want to know what Myung was going through during this time because I was a mess. I was sobbing over my baby. I was like, Mushroom, I love you so much. You're the best, sweetest angel ever. Don't leave me. And Myung's like, we're almost there. And I'm literally freaking hysterical over here. That was so dramatic, okay? And then, so she's like, we're almost there, 2 minutes away. And then I see the hospital. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, every second matters. Literally every second she's gonna die. I literally think she's gonna die in my arms. And then she's like, okay, I'm dropping you off. Run up those stairs and tell them. And I get out. I open the car door. I have this cat. I'm like, I remember her head like falling, like catching her head. And I'm running up the stairs. It felt like out of a movie. I run up the stairs, tears streaming, and I was like, my cat's dying, please save her. And they're like, within a second, they grabbed her. They're like, are we okay to administer CPR? And I was like, yes, like it's $500 every 15 minutes. And I said, do whatever you have to do, save my baby, please. And they swoop her away. And then with 2 seconds later, they hand me a form to sign. And it's like, fill out the thing. And I'm shaking, like writing my name. Leslie, and Myung's like parking, right? So I'm just me hysterically crying, so writing out my name, forgetting how to spell anything. I'm like, what do I do with this form? What does it mean? Myung is next to me. She parks, she comes in, and she's just like patting me, and I am sobbing, and I'm like, I killed my cat. I killed my sweet baby. She said, I think she's the most pure girl in the whole wide world. I'm sobbing a lot, and they then come up and they said, hey, we need to put you in a room. And I realized, like, I'm probably scaring the other people. You know, it's not like a great sight to see somebody sobbing in the lobby. So.
No. Myung is such a good friend. Such a great support.
Pull up a chair. Listen. I was trying to tell them how you might have been feeling during all this.
Oh. It's good to see Mushroom is doing great. And it's so great that Miyang managed to keep her composure and handle the situation. You always need someone like a good friend, a support system that they can handle themselves during those moments that something happens like this one. This is great that Miyang was there. I remember something similar happened to one of my family members. They had a pet and someone accidentally stepped on that pet, and there was some injuries and some panic moments, but luckily, ultimately, the pet survived and passed that injury and that incident. So it's good to see that there was a good, happy ending to this. All right, I'm going to move to the next one.